It's a martial art that involves kicking, punching and blocking. Taekwondo originated in Korea more than 2,000 years ago and has been an Olympic sport since the turn of the millennium. Now it's embracing the digital revolution.
I think virtual taekwondo, as defined by the IOC, is a virtual sport. And that means it has both the virtual component and the game-like components, as well as the sports-like components. I think one of the key advantages it has is it's a sport. And because of that, you actually have to exert yourself physically to play it. You'll find that you'll be exhausted within the 3 rounds. You're able to play the game and have fun. The game-like elements are the thing which makes it different.
Esports or virtual sports have gained in popularity in recent years. According to data website Market US, the sector will be worth around $73 billion by 2033. Virtual Taekwondo hopes to become a significant player within the space by positioning itself as a much more inclusive sport. The game, a VR rendering of the martial art, sees competitors battle using handheld controllers while wearing headsets and body sensors. This allows combat without contact, which some say makes it much safer than traditional Taekwondo.
Because of no physical direct contact, we could have very diverse benefits of virtual Taekwondo. For example, we can fight regardless of the age or gender or size of the body.
In other words, this virtual reinvention levels the playing field.
We could have a mixed gender or all different size of the body as one category. So it's very flexible, very open to every different types of divisions.
This flexibility means former professionals who were forced to retire due to injury or aging are once again ready to compete.
I expect a lot of returning old athletes for this virtual form of Taekwondo. And also I expect many women will be fighting in virtual Taekwondo.
The recent World Virtual Taekwondo Championships in Singapore saw a return of athletes that have left the traditional sport.
I stopped Taekwondo for about 10 years. That is because age is catching up. So there's injuries that is like usually on the knee and the ankle, and it makes it very difficult for us to be mobile. Therefore, I decided to stop Taekwondo to have my recovery. And I'm glad that this round we have this virtual Taekwondo where it allows me to come back to try without having to worry about the injuries.
To find out how it all works, we visited the Singapore-based Refract Technologies, a company that's doubling down on virtual Taekwondo.
So now you see a player suited up for VTKD. From the top, you can see that he's wearing a VR headset, and paired with the headset are 2 controllers, left hand and right hand. These would take in inputs from the hands, whether they're punching or traversing through the menus. So let him turn around. On the spine, you can see there's 1 axis spine node that takes in inputs of the spine, whether he's bending or rotating his body. And on both of his legs are 2 nodes each, 1 on the thigh, 1 on the calf, and these will take in inputs of his legs when he's walking or when he's kicking. Right now you can see that the players are currently in the pre-game screen where they'll select their characters and also double check their movements for any issues and make sure they're ready for the fight. They are currently in VR mode, virtual reality, but when they fight, they'll actually go into this mode, which is pass-through mode, where they can have a safe environment to fight because they can see where they're stepping on and they won't get into any danger.
There are differences between this virtual version and the real thing. Traditional Taekwondo measures the impact of an athlete's kick. In the virtual game, kicking is continuous. To accurately measure all of the virtual kicking, the company had to develop proprietary technology it calls Axis, a body tracking system built with active gaming in mind. Refract Technologies says the hardware allows players maximum freedom to use their bodies as game controllers.
The reality is Taekwondo is a very fast-paced sport. You're looking at kicks that are moving very, very quickly. You're looking at movements, spin kicks, for example, that challenge what is essentially the physics of someone wearing sensors on their body and hoping it stays onto their body as well. That whole thing, this whole package of digitizing a sport and then turning it into something that's both playable as well as for people to spectate was very, very challenging indeed. We did try to look for off-the-shelf solutions in the past, but none of them were actually viable for what we were looking for, which was a very high-speed, low-latency motion capture solution that we could use in the sporting world. When you are dealing with technology that's very, very cutting edge, you're going to deal with a lot of issues along the way. I think to find something that was going to be very low in its latency, and understanding that this product was never going to be available in the market for us to just tap on, we had to do a lot of our own research into this. We had to do a lot of our own computations. There was a lot of trial and error. And what happened, there were different variations of the product that we had before we came up to this one singular solution, which we now see as Axis.
This is still actually a work in progress, but it took us from 2018 all the way until now to actually have both the technology as well as the game ready. There's still a long way to go, especially towards the Olympic esports games and potential inclusion within the Olympics itself. So there are two things which we are working on at the moment. The first is we want to continue to make it even more accessible, even cheaper, even more people can play it, and for people to be wanting to play it. That's the first part. And the second part is that it must be something which is spectacular to watch.
The technology of motion capture, especially at a very, very low latency, is very, very transferable to a lot of different sports. So for example, one of our other sports that we're looking at quite extensively is rowing, where in the event of a rowing competition, we don't actually put the motion capture on you, but we actually put Axis on the machine itself. And from there, we actually capture the movement of the machine and translate it to the sport that is rowing.
It's hoped that technological advancements will one day create a near-perfect simulation of the real Taekwondo. And with the growing popularity of esports, this new sport's future looks bright. But will it ever replace the real thing?
Maybe not, but virtual Taekwondo will open up totally new area in Taekwondo. So maybe even bigger than physical Taekwondo, that may be possible. I really expect we will have real Taekwondo, virtual Taekwondo. Each side will help each other for the further development.
It's never meant to replace Taekwondo, it's meant to expand the pool and get more people interested in Kurogi itself. This experience is a new experience. You can think of it as a new discipline, which expands the entire thing and which also we can put in more game-like elements to make it more and more interesting. I don't think it is the future of sports in the sense that it's going to replace sports. But I do think it is something which will exist alongside sports. It is a different consumption or different types of formats, and it is a way to make sport appeal to more people. Taekwondo or martial sports already has its own natural limitations, which is that the rate of injury is extremely high, both in training and in the actual sport itself. Like for example, for boxing, yes, you have the big show matches, but really a lot of training is shadow boxing. What I'm trying to do here is similar for Taekwondo and make it more fun and more interesting. This is meant to magnify the sport. I think it is something which the IOC clearly sees as well, because this is the direction which they are looking at virtual sports and simulation sports and esports as a way to get more and more people involved in the healthy benefits of sports.
Sponsored by